Now we are sitting here after around 17 hours of hunting, and we actually thought that we would not have any roebuck to cook anything out of because we've been working so hard and we have seen bucks but no good opportunities. So I did bring a backup, and we're still gonna stick to the backup, the minced roebuck I shot last week actually. So we are still in this summer mood here. We're gonna cook a chili con carne with the roebuck, and we do it over bonfire, and it's basically something that everyone can do if they like to cook outdoors. You can of course also do this inside of your home. You don't have to do it over bonfire. I like to do a lot of food out of the wild meat. Firstly, because I personally enjoy it, but I also like communicating hunting through food, because my experience is that not everyone understands hunting, but everyone understands food. So I think when we communicate hunting, I think the food part is extremely important to include. Also. And usually I think I would use white onions, but it's totally up to you what you would like to use. And now we just chop them roughly. That's the charming part of being outside. And I use the lid from the pot as a chopping board. Then I don't have to carry that much all the time when I'm going to the hunting ground. Or maybe I should just have a chopping board at the hunting ground. So I just put some of these onions in the pot. Then I put some olive oil with it. And then we just cook it for 2 minutes or so. Just put some olive oil in. And it doesn't look as much as it might look from your perspective here. It's just because you look from the side. So it's not that much olive oil I put in, just a bit. And we're ready to put it on the bonfire. And now we just let this cook for a while. And meanwhile we can chop some fresh chili to put in. And again, I think it is a bit charming to just do it a bit roughly. But of course, if you do not like fresh chili, maybe the one who's going to eat this don't like it roughly. But usually they are not that strong. So I put a bit of fresh chili in, and just because I like the different colors, we put a bit of each in. And maybe someone would say the reason why you don't have sharp knives, Mette, is because you're actually cutting into a lid of a pot, and that's not good for your knife. And that's maybe right. So now we got all the rainbow colors almost. And we don't put much more chili in it because I have a mix here that I made from home, which is a mix of cumin, coriander, dried chili, cinnamon, salt and pepper, and some olive oil. And this is just a whole mix I put into it. And this is what makes it really taste like a good chili con carne. Yeah, so we don't want to put much more chili in, because with the dried chili as well, I think it's more than enough. Otherwise, we can also always chop a bit and put on top afterwards. So, and when we talk about like how long time should something be fried or cooked, it's much easier to tell if you're doing it like home in the kitchen. But when you do things on a bonfire, it's more difficult. But I would say until softened. So we just cook the onions until they are a bit softened. Oh, it smells good. I love bonfire. I really find out after, I was actually not actually not into doing bonfire, and I've always been passionate about the outdoors, but haven't really been for bonfire and like bushcraft. But after becoming a hunter, I think it's like one big thing, like doing a bonfire after the hunt and cook some food. And I think it's one big experience you have. And I found out that my happy place is not necessarily when I shoot the buck. It's not necessarily when I'm only cook, but the combination of those two, sitting here, like putting the cherry on top of a good hunting experience, I think that's super nice. It really makes me happy all the way inside to do this. So now we would put the, it's a bit of olive oil also, but we put it in here. There is already olive oil in, but you can also just put the seasoning in. And we can put these ones in also. And we put the meat in. And a good tip of mine is when if you want to use more wild meat for easy cooking, it is for sure to remember to mince some of the meat, because if you don't mince the meat and you only have big cuts, it's not as suitable for quick cooking. So I like to mince a lot of my meat, because you can use it for much more of the kind of food that I do. This looks good, I think. Now we just brown all the meat, and as soon as it's browned, we put in the tomato sauce. That's just a personal favorite. I think it's just called mutti. It's a really, really nice Italian tomato sauce where it actually tastes of good tomatoes. So all the meat is now brown, and we can add the tomato sauce. And I use just 1 can. I do mean co-cooking that. And I just add a bit of water also. And now I just I stir around, and I just let it cook for, we're very hungry today, so we cook for maybe 10-15 minutes. But it would be good if it could cook for a bit longer. So it doesn't have to be super fancy when you're cooking outside. I know this could be less fancy, like we could do just a fillet or something like that, of course. But what I want to say is that I have forgot something to grate this on. That would of course be super duper nice to put on. So now we're just gonna chop a bit and hope it's gonna be okay, and it's gonna melt anyways on top of the delicious chili con carne. So it's okay. So we just chop a bit and hope that it will melt when it's on top. And I use cheddar cheese, but you could basically use whatever you think is nice to have on top. Oh, I found a super sharp knife now. It cut it through the towel. Okay, perfect. Now we're gonna stir a bit around again and put in the beans. I like to use both black beans and the traditional kidney beans. And I just take the liquid away from both of them. And the amount of beans, you can choose totally yourself, like if you like it or not. And I think it's nice to have, like 2 cans for maybe 500 grams of meat. But that's just like the seasoning. It's totally up to you, especially with the chili, depending on how strong you like it. So we'll put the black beans in, and we'll put the kidney beans in. Stir around. And we just let it cook for 8-10 minutes. You can put the lid back on. Super. So now it has been cooking for about 10 more minutes, and it's time to add the chocolate. And actually, we take it off the heat so it's not cooking with the chocolate in. We just take it off, and when we think it's done, we add the chocolate. And I think this is, it's not a secret, but a lot of people don't put chocolate in it. But I think that is what makes it very, very nice, especially with the chili. And I just make sure to stir it around so the chocolate will melt. And you can always add seasoning like during the cooking if you think it should taste more of cinnamon or cumin or coriander, whatever you like. So the chocolate should have been melting now, and the whole dish got a bit more dark. And you can put whatever you like on top. We have, and you can also serve it with rice, you can serve it with bread, or you can serve it with nachos, or everything at once. It's totally up to you, whatever you like. Then I put sour cream on top. I put some of the cheddar cheese. I put some fresh coriander. Put the whole. And then you can eat it with nachos just next to. Take the good ones here, like this. And you can also crunch it a bit over. And if you like more chili, you can also add some fresh chili. This is the chili con carne with Roebuck. Happy hunting and happy cooking. I am Mette Karin Petersen, a passionate hunter from Denmark. Denmark is moving towards becoming the first country in the world banning lead in hunting ammunition. It is a hot topic. That combined with my personal motivation, I've started Dedicated Lead Free, with great support from Norma. I am not trying to convince you to be lead free, but I'm trying to communicate a complex topic in a simple and educational way, so you have enough knowledge to choose whether you want to be dedicated lead free.